They brought us an assault and they took him away. A shadow nerf took away the fun, the enjoyment, the progression that we were given for only a couple days. Not so happy. However, finally, they decided to come out and say, our bad. It was actually a bug. We needed to fix it. 100 diamonds for your troubles. I'm okay. Not great with. A lot of people probably built an assault based off our videos that we showed, and for them to so quickly jump on that. There are problems in every game, including this one, that they ignore. Nonetheless, it is what it is. It still leaves us with a what now. It leaves me with a what now. Those of you who've been watching the channel know that I was struggling for 50k. This got me 50k and now it's gone. So what am I going to do now? How about nothing? Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Madcapper and this is another video on Watcher of Realms. You heard me right, nothing. I'm gonna do nothing. I'm gonna go back to my old team and just hit 50k anyway. I don't know what I did differently. I don't know what's different on my team. I looked through my team. I have maybe better gear, although arguably most of the gear I've gotten in the last 60 days, 30 to 60 days has been more gear. In other words, I can now simultaneously have more champions with good gear on, but I don't feel, I especially didn't get any better gear on my Silas, but just in general, I don't feel like I got a huge boost in gear. Maybe when I built an assault, I retuned a lot of my champions. Maybe that was enough to make the difference. I'm going to show you the run. I've done it several times now, but we're going to bring it up here. I didn't want to do it live because I was scared it wasn't going to work, but this was my first recording, my first video. Well, second video. The first video, I made a mistake. I popped Valeria's ult at the wrong time. We'll talk about the team. I'll show you the gear. I'll show you everything I do. But first, let's go over the run itself. So the biggest thing here, and I think this is really important, especially when you're talking about just creeping over. I've gotten 51k with this once, but typically it's just over 50. And interesting to note, it seems to fail on auto, or sometimes fail on auto. I think it's 1 and 1 on auto, so I'm a little bit confused as to why it's not doing. If it did the exact same thing and just didn't, but I'm watching it and it's literally holding on to alts that it shouldn't. So I'm not sure why, but anyway, so we start here. What we're gonna do now is set up our invigoration team. So the order we're gonna go in, and we're pausing, we're using escape between each one to give us those extra few seconds we can. You notice the rampage starts in 447. It should happen relatively quickly where I get the team out. So we're gonna start with Silas, then Hollow in invigoration, then Hex, and then Dolores in invigoration. Then we're gonna go to Valeria, then Aracha invigoration, then Torador, and then Volca in invigoration, and finally Lust with Laurel in invigoration. And we're going to face them in such a way, as you'll see it, that they all get their invigoration. You can see everyone. I moved myself up on purpose, so okay, I did restart it here. I want to make sure that I'm getting it right away. So again, here it is. Then we pause, and then we search. You know that we're gonna go Hollow second. Now, when you're doing that, you have to position your cursor because sometimes those guys are gonna drop a point, right? But here we go. We're gonna set everyone up. I guess it really doesn't matter who I use for the invigorations, the guys that I'm gonna pull back off the field. I am also curious, and let me know in the comments down below what you think. Would Volca do more damage than Torador? Should I be making a full damage Volca instead of a full damage Torador? Which one of those two is gonna do that extra damage? You'll see the damage at the end of this fight. Now here we go, the end of the group. Maybe can I don't want to do this in 2x. I don't have a 2x. So this is the team. This is the team I used before. This is the team that I eked out every ounce of possible I thought I could get out of it, and I got 47.5k blood. And then I just kind of pulled back and was getting around 41, 42k, because what was the point? 47 and 41 are both second top chest. But I wanted to give this a go again with the gear they had with an assault. Of course, I took out Demos and I put Valeria back in, and I took out an assault and I put Hex back in, so Hex got re-geared. Valeria has gotten re-geared a couple times, more mainly for arena, but I kept her in the gear that I did. And as you can see here, we're really trying to, this is an important note. So for those of you who don't know, I'm sure you've seen the videos, but if you haven't, Valeria, you have to use her off of Meteor Strike, because Meteor Strike takes away a percentage, or it takes away a tick. It's a dot, it's a fire dot, whereas the Infernal Roar is a percentage of your health. So if you have 100% health, it takes away half. If you have, or a third, or whatever the number is. If you have 10% health, it takes away half, so you still have health. That's the reason why Valeria, because of her ult, which will kill her if she's at 0 health while the ult is going on, you want to make sure to time that right, and you'll see that I do that. The other thing I want to do is, a couple times you see I might be using Hollow when they're not actually low on health, and therefore she isn't increasing the rage necessarily, but because I'm going to be pulling Laurel off the field, and she's in that Laurel field of reset or of rage boost, I want to make sure that Hollow benefits from that. So we're going to go in here. You're going to see, like, I pull her here, and I'm going to use Hollow right there, even though she's not needed, because I want to be able to get her back up and to do it again. So you're always going to see that. A lot of the times I'm going to use Hollow even in times that it doesn't necessarily boost. It did boost a bit there, and that was important because not everyone was at full health. But all this time she's gonna help boost my Valeria, for example, and it's gonna get my timings on the rest of the fight. Now here's where I know is good. I need to break 12k blood before he gets quote unquote promoted. You see I'm there, I'm good, I'm ready to go. If we hit 13, even better. We were hitting about 14 with Nassault, but I knew, see, now promoted at 12.6, 12.7. So I know that I'm on track for a good run. And it's a touch and go run. And again, we're going to hold. So it's Infernal Roar. We're going to hold off here. We're going to put Laurel in. But before we put Laurel in, we're going to pop those ults. And then we're going to pull Laurel. Oh, I think we wait because we're so close, we realized. So I'm going to pop ults. We're on meter impact so we can pop them all, then pull her, and then pop our much slower Hex. Much slower in his rage regen. So, and then it's just rinse repeat. If you want to see this full, I'm going to let the full run go, just in case you want to see kind of timings. Again, you notice how we're using her long before we need to, but we want to make sure we're popping everyone. I do wait on Dolores until we're just about ready for Silas and Lust. Those are our two biggest damage dealers. We do it again, and because the timings are good on the shield, boom. And that's part of the Hollow piece as well. We can pull Valeria here because we got a lot of time before he gets back. Now I believe the timing on this run is about 28k when he quote unquote gets promoted. Now you see here, I'm waiting. I'm actually going to pop ults here first, because even if I pull Laurel, my Silas and my Lust aren't ready. So I'm going to pop those two now. Why not? I probably should have waited for Dolores. That's my fault, but I didn't. Whatever. The more important thing was that we got our Hex, we got our Valeria. Oh my God, our Silas and Lust, and we popped it first, and then we pulled. And we're always replacing her. We're always replacing her with an extra champion. Those champions are in okay gear, just something to add extra damage. Every little bit counts. We're going to use their ults whenever we can. Now you see here, we've got 20 seconds left. So we're just going to hold off here. Now I believe I popped Dolores right away, knowing that I got 12 seconds until Laurel's back. So I might as well use her now. Use her with Hex. Right? Because what's going to happen here, I'm going to pop these two. They're going to start working on the shield. Then I'm going to drop Laurel. We're going to pick her up right away because there's no one even close. Oh, wait. Here's another one where we wait for Hollow. I forgot. That's one of the big things with the timing. Once we get Hollow popped and we get Torador popped, then we're going to... And Valeria. Jeez, we really make sure to rip around. And then we replace. Volka's on the field. And then we're going to pop her back on again right away. Do I do it? I wait. Oh, I do wait until these two cycle up a little bit further. I put it at 90%. And then we pop them both. We wait on Hollow, but we do pop our Hex. We pop Hollow because we know the damage is coming. Now we're at 42, I think it was. And I think, I want to say 41 is as low as I've gotten there. But 42 is about where you want to be on promotion. And then we just got that 8k blood left. And now it's just cycling. Now we're just like, how do we get those cycles? We see that, oh, we're going to get one more Laurel shot at it. So we're going to prep for that. We get Laurel in there. I even tried pausing. I don't usually pause it once the battle's going. I could even eke out a little bit more if I paused between each ult. Maybe that just makes this a little bit safer. But now we're off to the races. I'm looking at it. I got 14 seconds. I'm looking pretty good. 49k blood, 10 seconds. Yikes, my lord. Give me Hex. Give me your sweet, sweet damage. There it is. 50.5 we're going to end up with. And we are good to go. 5541. And we have gotten our 50k. So this is our non-assault 50k. God bless. Now let's take a look at the damage. I'm going to save that run. Why not? Here's the stats. So we have 149k out of our Silas. Previously he was doing 125. So obviously whatever I did to him changed him enough that he's doing excess damage. Our Lust, 109. Perfectly acceptable. And then our Hex. So our Lust, 109. Our Hex, I've seen people's Hex out hit their Silas. I have an A2 Silas. I have an A1 Hex. I have Aracha for both of them. I don't know why it's such a significant difference. Maybe you can let me know in the comments down below. When you see both their gears, you're like, oh, if you did this, you're an idiot. This would help. Maybe that's it. And then, of course, you see, if I keep going here, you're going to see our Valeria at 62 doing wonderful secondary. Now, Demos might not quite get that much, but he can get okay. Now, the question I have for you for the comments down below, 18 million damage out of Torador. Do you think the Volca with damage gear, I'd still have to put her in Invigoration for it to work, but do you think the Invigoration, actually no I wouldn't because I'd use Torador to invigorate her. So I can actually change out either Torador for even more damage, which I probably will, or should I take Volca and see if she can do more damage than Torador in a full damage set? I'd be curious to see, because right now you see where they are. You're going to get the dot damage out of Aracha. Volca's just doing straight up damage with nothing gear. And then the rest of them are for nothing. So there you go. 50k. I've done it. It's happened. They can't take it away from me this time. I don't think. But I'm not quite sure why it even happened. So let's take a look at the gear in the champions. I'll go right to the guild boss fight. We'll go right to fight. So this is the team. Obviously, the two lords. You already saw the whole team going, but let's take a look at the numbers. Torador is actually in an Invig set, but we did crit cap him because we knew we were putting him down in previous versions. He was one of the champions being picked up all the time, which is why I have him in Invig, but with some damage. 13.8 attack, 1.5 second attack interval with 478 speed, 205 crit damage, crit cap. So what I could get out of him is probably another 100,000 crit damage, maybe, or another 100% crit damage, sorry. Maybe not if I'm not in Invig. Maybe because I really only have one damage dealing Invig. Maybe I can't get any more damage out of him. I'm not 100% sure, to be perfectly honest. So there's our Torador. We'll scroll down for Aracha. Again, she's nothing. She's literally about putting Invigoration and anything extra she can get in dodge. But 14.4 attack, 166 crit damage, but not even crit rate, 1.5 second attack interval. She does have some good rage regen. I don't know if that's really making a difference in this, but that is her build. And the third of the lift ups is our Volca, which should not be, which I'm sure I've passed 100 times. There she is. She's an A3 Volca, all from, of course, the Tide. One day I'll get her 4, maybe, but today will not be that day. I'm not going to randomly upgrade her. She has no skill upgrades, by the way. None of these have skill upgrades so far that I've shown you past what you can do without skill crystals. I didn't use skill crystals in any of the ones we've seen. Gear-wise, she's, of course, also an Invig. She is nearly crit capped. but not a whole lot going on there. 13.5, 2-second attack interval, 162 crit damage, nearly crit capped, with a little bit of rage regen as well, 39.5. So those are the kind of the transitionary. If you need to see, oh man, might as well. We're doing the whole team. Hollow here, 55,791 in the Invig set. She's at 15,636 attack, a 1.7 attack interval, 371 speed, and 101 healing effect. For the clan boss, you can actually do higher speed, lower healing effect, but I use Hollow in so many different places. I want her to be more versatile, so I do put her at 100% healing effect. At this time, I also like to ask you another question. I do have a couple other champions that are used in different 50k teams. I don't know if they're worth swapping anywhere out, but I'll talk about those in a minute. And I'd like to get your opinion on it. Our Dolores here, 12,172 attack, 190.5 crit damage. She is, of course, in Keen Wisdom. I should also mention these champions is starting to become important, so I'll let you know that she's in a Golden Scarab, fully maxed out as well. Very handy. Let's just put it that way. Very helpful, very handy. Laurel, there's nothing special about Laurel. She's just in Invig set, and we're using her for rage regen. That's all she's there for. Now let's talk about the damage dealers of the group, and we'll start from the bottom and work our way up. Our first one is they're all near the top. First one is Lust. She's at 79,947. We take a look at her stats. 12,912. She's at a 1.5 second interval at 341 attack speed, 422 crit damage. I have sacrificed crit damage for speed. It doesn't seem to do better. This seems to do better. I've also switched her back and forth between a couple of different artifacts, and they seem to be very similar. What I would say is ultimately her exclusive, which I actually have had one copy of it, so I'm now at 13. This is doing almost as much damage as the sinful tier, the lustful tier, the something tier, the one tile for every tile further away one. This is equaling the damage I get out of that. It was not at 10. So I just think just that 13 is just enough that this is really doing helpful for her. Obviously, if this was maxed, it would be it's going to considerably improve and boost her damage. So next up, for skills, now we're talking about all max skills. Going forward, they're all going to be max skill. Next one, of course, Valeria, also max skill. She's in the realm tier. I knew there was a lot of crying involved. She's in the realm tier, which is why we do set her back one, and she deals increased damages beyond one tile from the hero. For every one tile beyond the first, damage increased by 8%. I also use this sometimes in arena, depending on the type of arena. There's I use her in two different types. One of them I have to use Lunacy, and the other one I use this, because when she gets that 2-tile hit off her alt, it's pretty impactful. It's pretty crazy. Or is it her passive? It's this one here. Smashes one enemy. I was thinking it's her auto. It smashes one enemy within 2 tiles, dealing 300% damage, inflicting vulnerability during the ult. Each attack reduces plunging slash cooldown by 3 seconds. So very cool. It lasts for 3 seconds and it's got a 20-second cooldown, but each attack reduces that. It's what you gotta know. It's all good, and this hits very hard. And so that sometimes works well with this realm tier as well, even though it's only one tile. And normally you'd think the realm tier on someone like her, meh, but for the boss, this is the best one that I have. And I also do have a Wailing Skull at 25, and this does better than the Wailing Skull on her. If I put the exact same stats, I get more damage out of her with this. So take that for what it is. Anyway, as far as her stats, she's got 16,540 attack. She's got an attack interval of 1.5, 346, 396 crit damage, crit capped, no rage regen for Valeria. Next up on the list, and I really want to use Sargak in, but for now, next on the list is our boy Hex. Hex has gone through a lot of transformation. I think I can make better gear for him, but I'm just not quite there. So maybe this is I think I do know why he's not doing as much damage as he could, because he doesn't have the gear that he could. 14,878 attack, 1 second attack interval, so we do have him very fast, almost crit capped, 334 crit damage. I think that's where we're losing out here. We don't have any rage regen either, which might help a bit. But in previous iterations, I was using him around 420 crit damage. In fact, I could say that probably if I swapped his gear with Lust, that's how I was running it before. But I think this version just did more damage for me. So that might be the reason why I got that extra 2 mil damage, is because, believe it or not, Lust doesn't need as much speed because she gives herself extra speed. Maybe that's it. Whereas Hex needs the extra speed to do more damage. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. Again, max skilled, except for his stun. So we're missing 5% damage and a trigger chance on the stun ability. Then finally, we have our boy, our wonderful boy, Silas. He is, of course, in a max Spirit Siphon. So is, by the way, Hex. I forgot to mention that. Who is not in a max Spirit Siphon. Well, there's his damage right there. Sargak. I have it on Sargak right now. So there you go. I don't feel like switching them back and forth. I got 50k. I'm not going to do this again. But the reason why I have Sargak is I'm using him in Arena, so I did switch that out. Well, there you go. Answering my own questions as we go. Silas, he is at, let's take a look at it, 13,674, 1.1 attack interval, 363 crit damage. Keeping in mind, of course, that he has all sorts of ignore defense, so he just does bonkers more damage. We have him pretty good speed. I have him in the attack I want. Everything about him I like. I want more crit damage. And of course, we have him in Infernal Roar. I would like, as you can see, Infernal, this makes sense to me. Ageless Wrath is perfect for Hex because he is not ulting enough to make benefit of the other one. I would argue that maybe neither is Silas, though that could be debatable. I think maybe you could, if I had it, I'd put him in Soulbound Arcana. Definitely Lust is in Soulbound Arcana, and they're pretty much ulting at identical times. So if I had the gear, I would, but I don't, which is also why you see she's in Soulbound Arcana with the stats, because to get Hex's stats, I don't have it in Soulbound Arcana. Yeah, I think that's all the information I have for everything I have here. Now the final question I have here. So for question number 1, Volca or Torador, who do you think can do more damage in the guild boss as the last permanent stay on the team? I'm very curious to hear what you think. Number 2, well, I think I answered it. Hex wasn't in the proper artifact. I'm not, is what it is. I probably won't change it. Maybe if I put it on auto, I'll change it, because auto sometimes doesn't quite hit 50. And then the third question is there a 50k team that I should be using with the following? You've seen my roster, but I do have Eloin, and I do have Leia. And I feel like there's a 50k team there that I was never quite able to get right. And the other one is I have an A1 Twin Fiend somewhere around here. In fact, I used a bauble, a thingy, or whatever you want to call it, to give him his A1. And I could never quite get that to a full 50k. And I don't want to mess with things too much because I have a 50k team now. But I'm just curious to your thoughts down below. Is there room for improvement? Is there room, other than obviously for not forgetting to switch artifacts and overall improving gear? We get that. But am I missing something? Is there something that I'm doing wrong? Are there some timings I'm getting wrong? Especially with Hex, even though I get granted his gear isn't my best gear, I still feel like he should be doing more damage even than what he was in, let alone. So let me know in the comments down below. And finally, I saved it for this. Rest in peace, Nassault. Alas, poor Nassault. I knew him well. Get that gear off him. Get the gear off him. All right, that's all I have for the video. This is my 50k team, non-Nassault. It is, yes, it is endgame. This is not a path for you to get 50k, but it is to showcase what team I have that, oddly enough, is not using a Twin Fiend to get my 50k. So very happy about that. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. Finally, please be kind, be safe. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.